If you've ever wondered what shooting stars sounds like, they sound like this. At least in my world they do. Hey guys, my name is Artie, and today I want to show you how I wrote my lo-fi song, Twilight Forest. I released the full version a few weeks ago. You can go listen to it here. If you like it and want to have it for yourself, there's a link available on my Ko-Fi page to anyone who tips me or joins one of my membership tiers. Any support is much appreciated. But for now, let's jump into the breakdown. So I didn't really know what the song was going to be before it became what it is. There was no clear vision for it in the beginning. I just knew that I really wanted some nice chords to it. So that's where I started messing around. So I really like the sound of this major 1, minor 2, major 4, minor 4 kind of progression here for the verse. So I kept that, and here, let me play it for you. So it kind of starts off hopeful with the rising chords. And then here it just kind of falls a bit and gets a little bit sad. And I really like that, so I kept it. And then it just repeats after that. So contrary to the rise and fall of the verse, which you just heard, I wanted the chorus to just keep descending. So I have this, and please let me know if I'm wrong, guys. I don't know all these chords. I just picked what sounded nice. I have a major 1 inverted going to a 7 diminished from C major, I think, down to a minor 2 inverted, and then a minor 2 that's also inverted, but it's also diminished. And I don't know if any of what I'm saying makes sense. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Please do. I would love to learn about this. I just picked notes and sounds that sounded nice. This song, by the way, is in G major, I believe. Yeah, so this song is all in G major, but some of these chords don't actually fall into that scale structure. So that's why I'm having a bit of a hard time figuring out what chords are which. But just listen to the chorus and you'll see what I mean. So you can tell that that last chord, the D sharp, shouldn't be there if we were following specific scale structure. So feel free to let me know what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right or what scale or what chords these are, because I would love to know a little bit more about music theory if you happen to know something. And I don't know exactly what it is about this chord progression, but it just sounds really nice to me, so I kept that. And that's pretty much how I made the chords for this piece. Oh, and if you're curious about what instruments I'm using for this, for the chords, I'm using the Analog Lab system, or the Analog Lab intro, sorry. And I'm using the Spectrus preset, and I don't think I've changed these parameters. These are what they are right now. But we'll get back to that towards the end of the video. Hey, Editing Artie here to let you guys know that I did a terrible job at explaining the audio and MIDI effects that I have on each of these tracks. So I'm going to let you guys know towards the end of each category what effects I have on each of these tracks. So starting off with the lo-fi keys, I have a really subtle beat repeat that only has a 1 in 4 chance of actually really happening. So it's so subtle that you guys probably can't even hear it, but what you guys can definitely hear is this Lost Tapes plugin that I got from Superfly DSP. And that's just to add a bit of artifact, a bit of crunch to the sound to give it that lo-fi feel. So for the bass, I wanted something just really simple. And I think I achieved that with this plugin called Magic 8-Bit Plug 2 by YMCK. So if I pull this up, you guys can see the settings I have for this plugin. I designed the sound by myself using the sliders that you see here, and I got something that was really just, let me arm this track. And you can just hear that it's a really basic sound. Let me go down a couple octaves so you guys can hear what it sounds like. Yeah, very low stuff, very simple. The melody is pretty simple too. I just really wanted something to support the chords. I didn't want something to be fancy. I really just wanted something in there to fill out some space and balance the song a little bit. For the bass, the only after effect that I have on here is a small EQ, and that's just to bring out the lows and get rid of the mids and highs. And I found that doing it this way made the bass sound a lot more basic, which again is what I want. So moving on to percussion. Percussion is always the hardest for me to figure out. And that's because most of the music experience that I have is with symphonic music. And in symphonic music, percussion changes based on what the song calls for. It doesn't follow repeating patterns all that much. It's kind of, we need bells here, or we need chimes here, or we need a big timpani roll towards the end of this phrase, which is different in pop music because pop music uses a lot of repeating patterns, which I'm just not used to. So figuring out an interesting pattern that would work while also keeping it pretty unobtrusive was a little difficult. But that being said, I'm pretty happy with this result. So let me show you what I have here. So the verse here is pretty simple. It's literally just a ride cymbal on every second beat of each bar. That's just to give it a bit of texture and a bit of lead up to the actual chorus. In the chorus, we have something a little more complicated, but again, it's really not all that complicated. I have a hi-hat going off on every 8th note and a snare on every 3rd beat. And then I have a kick drum filling in where I felt that it needs space and a tom fill on the end of every 8-bar phrase. So let me show you what that sounds like. And then let me skip to the tom fill for you. Very simple, very easy. I just felt like it needed, I added instruments where I felt like they needed to be. And that's percussion. And if you're curious about what instrument I'm using one of the presets. I use presets or free things for pretty much all of the, for all of the sounds that you're hearing in this song. Because I don't really want to spend money on anything. So this is an A-cuff kit. I have a few settings on it. I have some supermassive reverb and just a bit of compressor, which I'm not even using. So discount that. Atmosphere. So in my opinion, this is kind of like the funniest characteristic of the song. And the reason I say that is because this plugin I'm using for the ambiance throughout the track is a free plugin made by Kia out of all companies. So let me show you what it sounds like by itself. So it's just, it's just ambiance. It's like crickets in the background. It sounds like a forest to me, so I wanted to keep it. So to get this sound, what I did was I opened up their controller and found a nice preset. All of these sounds are nature sounds. So you have categories like geyser, forest, birds, beach, night. There's all these different things that you guys can pick from, and I picked one that I felt was cool. So I picked Forest and Divine, and I think what I did was I turned down everything except for the ambiance. So I'll say that there are 2 pieces of ear candy in the song. When I was looking for atmospheric stuff, I found this crackling campfire sound effect, and though I didn't end up putting that in, there was a sound in there that I really wanted to mimic. And so I thought this high-pitched squeal, like a twig that was cracking from too much pressure, I wanted to turn that into a shooting star sound effect. And, well, if you've ever wondered what shooting star sounds like, they sound like this. At least in my world, they do. I have the volume cranked up pretty high for that because it's in the background usually. Yeah, I have it like negative 45 decibels right now for the sound. Kind of a weird leap to make for a sound now that I think about it, but it works. So what I've got here to make this sound is I'm using the same plugin that I used to make the bass sound. So Magical 8-bit plugin, you're saving my life here. I have the settings tweaked a bit differently than I do for the bass. So here I have a singular note, a very short one, that's being influenced by beat repeat, pan flow, a delay, and some wide stereo just to make it thicker. So essentially what's happening is I'm playing a note and then really fast playing that note over again, but decreasing the pitch, delaying it just slightly to get a very subtle echoey sound, and then panning it from left to right across both ears just to fill out the sound space a bit more. So I mentioned pan flow for one of the effects for ear candy. So here you can see an illustration of what happens to the sound as the song progresses. You can see that it's going from right to left, right to left. Now the second piece of ear candy is kind of a mystery to me. Like, it's part of the lo-fi keys that I have for the chords, but it's really faint. In fact, I wasn't entirely sure if I was hearing something or if I was just crazy. And it's really hard to solo, so let me try to find that sound and describe it at least. So it's happening right now when the chords are playing, but it's like this faint, like twinkly sound that I'm not entirely sure how it's being made. And that combined with the rest of the song gives this very light, feathery kind of pixie texture up on the top end. And it's just really cool. I really like it. So I'm counting that as ear candy because I think it's really cool and it was not intentional at all. So yeah, that's my breakdown of Twilight Forest. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out. Until next time, I'll see you later. Oh, and by the way, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday on my Twitch channel at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Stop by, come hang out, stay a while. We have a lot of fun there. Okay, bye.